going on YouTube? This is Jeff Fire back again, and welcome back to another episode of the Pirate Nation podcast, Walk the Plank. Today I'm joined by two of the newest members of Pirate Nation, Dusty and Poseidon. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you two for come on out. I appreciate it. I know I'm very excited to kind of be part of the Halo family. I've seen a lot of. You two stream all the time, and I'm very happy about it. You guys are absolute grinders. How long has it been? Like a couple months now? 2, 3? Since you guys have joined Pirate Nation?
Yeah,
what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I've been, like pushing 4 months now.
Wow, really?
Right in January, like in December, you and I started, that's when we first met, end of December. And then officially in January is when we came aboard.
Sheesh. And then a little bit after we had Dusty,
Yeah.
Dude, I can't tell you how much Poseidon talked you up. He's like, yo, we gotta get him. The best coach ever. Like,
I was the brain. I'm getting old, so my fingers are slow. But my brain is still working.
I gotta bring Dusty, man.
When did you guys first meet? Did you guys first meet at a LAN?
No, we met. So let me think real quick. So we were before Anaheim. We were finding teams. So it started with me and Condor, our other teammate, and so me and him were officially a team of two, and so we were running games, me and him, with a bunch of people, and Dusty was one of them we ran with. So we had a whole list of players, and Dusty ran with, and it was just we started clicking naturally. We ended up running in a couple times, multiple times. Actually, it's all the time. So like that's where it kind of started there.
Yeah, I was a free agent for Anaheim because I knew I really wanted to go. I was actually already going to Anaheim for DreamHack just to hang out the LAN. I've done DreamHack before, and I've done competitive reach. So I just put myself as a free agent. I made a stupid little picture of all of my accolades.
It was actually pretty cool. We still have it.
Is that the thing you sent me?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
And that was kind of I've done because there were so many free agents out there, and I knew it's gonna be saturated with a bunch of online warriors and people that haven't had experience with teams of 4 and LANs. And so I played with Condor and Poseidon, and they had really good communication, which I haven't seen in a while from a lot of people. They just as a team of 2 were really good, and so I kind of slotted in as that third, and then we were looking for the fourth. We jumped around a couple different players, and we ended up settling right before it with a player, Cisco Disco, who had Francisco, who's had a lot of LAN experience, and it's just a name in the scene that people really recognize, and he was a really good player.
Oh
Yeah.
What was the top placing that you guys got playing together?
So at Anaheim, we got top 21. It was kind of weird layout, so technically top 24, but it was an odd number of teams, so our final placing was top 21. We were one match away from entering the champ bracket.
Yeah.
So
one match. It was so close. The team that we did lose to is a team that was a really strong team. Unfortunately, I'll talk about this right now because we're on this topic, but the tournament itself was really scuffed, kind of going into it. And I don't remember, and Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong, but they lost all of the placings of the teams that had done promos to be able to get into Anaheim and the bracket for that. And so they just said well, for pools, we're just gonna freaking roulette it, and we'll just put players against others. And they didn't check any of the gaming PCs to make sure that VSync was off. They didn't work with any of the FOVs. They just put it out there.
Good luck.
And good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. It was the first tournament on PC, so it was definitely a learning curve, but it was a huge learning curve. Like Dusty was saying, we had qualifiers. We had 4 or 5 qualifiers going into Anaheim, and we did pretty well most of them. So our points, we were doing the math. All right, cool. We're gonna go with the solid seed.
We were gonna be one of the top seeds in the pools. So
we were I don't even remember what our seed was. wasn't like 14th. We were like towards the top middle, right? Like
Mhm.
14th or something like that. And so all right, cool. We're sitting pretty. We're gonna have a good bracket. We're gonna do good. And then next thing you know, the day of the event, we're all there. We're all ready to go. And then they're like, oh, we're having problems. And we're like, what's going on here? And then it kept dragging and
Yeah.
dragging. And we're like, are we gonna play? Like, we're still having problems with the bracket. And they said something with the third party. The points was never sent, or it was corrupt the file, or I'm not sure what
Yeah.
they said. And next thing you know, they're like, all right, yep, like Dusty was saying, basically random, and none of your points count. We're sorry. So we're like, well, what the hell was the point of that? You
The
know?
start time
So,
was 2 hours later than what it should have been. A lot of
Yeah.
people came into this like basically like breakfast time around like 10 a.m. We didn't start until like 1 p.m. And
Yeah.
so instead of like let's play and then let's go get lunch, it was like we got to go get like cafeteria food because we don't know when we're starting. And
that $9 pizza.
oh, it's the best $9 pizza ever, man.
Oh man, it was awful. We warmed up, we were ready to go, and then basically waited 2 hours. We got cold, and we had to
Yeah.
warm up again real quick, and then we played our match.
Like a 5-minute
And
warm
then-
up, like a quick CTF like 2v2 warm up, like not even
Yeah.
against like another scrim. It was odd.
Yeah. So we had a rough start, but once the tournament started going, it went smooth. We
Yeah.
just had a rough start. We ended up playing all the way till almost midnight. It was like what?
We were the
9 hours?
last players there.
Yeah, it was like 9 hours of playing.
Yeah, we were playing
Probably
for the
longer than
last
that.
spot at a pools. And,
Yeah.
we needed one more map, and the last map we played was Zealot Flag, and they ended up just getting really strong momentum off the bat. It was really hard to come back from, and all in all, like it was a really good series. We're playing against really good people. Our first game we should have won. I think that's kind of where it comes down to. But like I think it was you, Carlos, as well as like Cisco couldn't hear any comms. Like it was just like really not appropriate. But it is what it is. It was its first tournament. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, it was awesome. I think our first match, everybody was just upset. Cisco, he was pissed. He was like, "We spent all this time qualifiers, and now you're telling me it was all for nothing. You know, don't waste our time." So our mental game, everybody was upset, and then we had audio issues, and we couldn't hear each other. Like it was just awful, and it was just. Well, once it started going, and then it was perfect. It was fun, and we started getting our matches back to back to back. Like we started went on a roll, but definitely our first game we should have won.
Yeah.
You know, but we did make a good losers bracket run.
We did.
Yeah.
Our second match, we ended up playing against like a Halo community speedrunners group, and they really like that exists.
What?
Yeah, and they were there for like the fun of it. They know a little bit about competitive, but they had never like done like a LAN before. It was like people who were going to this event and were like, "Oh yeah, let's sign up." And I think we still have screenshots of how badly we crushed them. Like we went like plus 30 on like certain like flag maps, like no deaths, and it was a nice like second team to play against because it was definitely a big confidence booster, and it was target practice, so we definitely improved our shots. And then by the third and fourth match that we played against players that were like around similar skill level, and we just played lights out. We played really well.
Yeah.
And which Halo game was that? Was that Halo 5?
Halo Reach.
Halo Reach. Yeah. This is when they first introduced the Master Chief Collection to PC.
Oh, okay.
So they started
Yeah,
off
that
with
makes
the
sense.
bang, and they're like, "All right, Reach was the first game. We're gonna have a tournament," and you know, so it was a big event. It was fun.
The game wasn't even out for 2 months. So
Was it best of
Yeah.
threes or best of fives in pools?
it was best of
Fives?
fives.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
We
remember-
got some good games.
When I would watch competitive Halo in my short span, it was what was it? It was like Slayer, CTF, King of the Hill, or like Dom or something like that. CTF and the Slayer again. Remind me, what are the 5 game modes or 3 game modes?
There's Slayer, there's Catch the Flag, King of the Hill, and then depending on which Halo you're playing, there's
oddball or hardpoint.
there you go. Yeah.
Did you guys have to
Depending.
play oddball or anything like that?
They didn't have an oddball for Reach.
Oh,
We had
Yeah.
yeah, which is
They
good because Halo Reach's oddball is awful.
Yeah, they used to back in the day when Reach was in its prime. I'm pretty sure it was one of the settings They used to have oddball, 'cause I remember he was like huge. It was like a big old oddball compared to like the normal size, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was kind of odd looking, but yeah, we played King of the Hill. It was Slayer, King of the Hill, and Catch the Flag is the game types we played.
Wow. And you know, coming from COD, you know, the idea of watching you guys play Slayer, which is basically TDM for Call of Duty, it's like that's an. I mean, I don't see that. I played that a lot back in like 2009, 2010. So it's crazy to think that's like one of the main. You play that twice in a best of 5,
Mm-hmm.
right? Isn't that game 5? It's like game 1 or game 4 or something like that.
Typically, yeah.
Typically, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you know what's crazy is when you're seeing these high professional matches, when they go to like game 5, it's Slayer, and it'll be like neck and neck all the way, and then the last like seconds it's like 49, 49, 48, 48, and it's crazy, man.
It's fun because like the high professionals slow down the game. Like it's like really fast, like 10 kills comes, 20 kills comes, 30 kills comes, and then it's like a crawl to 40, and then it like slows down around like 42, 45, and like then it's like a kill, a trade, another kill, a trade, and it's like
Yeah.
it's fun to watch. It really is.
That's when you have to hit those snipes. You can't miss.
You gotta.
Last of the game.
Well, okay, so gotta hit those snipes. Which one of you two was the better sniper on the team?
Dusty.
Yeah, that was quick.
Oh, you're so nice.
Honestly,
yeah. I think Carlos, if you put him in any Halo, he would pick up the sniper and do incredibly well. He would be, lights out any single day.
From what I saw, yeah.
Yeah. With me, I feel like I did really well on our team with the Halo Reach sniper because I had played like competitively with Halo Reach, and I sniped on previous teams, and it kind of it worked out. Like Carlos was a very good 1v1 fragger, and I was very good at communication and saying like where we need to go, what we needed to do, and if I'm behind them, I can see everything, and that kind of that helped out a lot. But
Yeah.
if like the sniper was coming up in 10 seconds and I was on respawn, I want Carlos to take it. No, I don't want it.
All right.
No, we were very back and forth, and basically when we needed to pick up snipe, we would dominate with it. We knew what we had to do, and we had a great communication with that. It was fun, so definitely. But Dusty is he's better. He's a better sniper, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Oh.
And Reach. Yeah, just Reach. Every other Halo, it's you, my friend.
Are there designated roles in Halo? I mean, like using Call of Duty again as an example of like entry sub, the main person who gets the sniper, right? Or like the flex player, the person who holds down spawns, like the anchor. Do we have that in Halo, or is it kind of like everyone kind of does everything?
That's a good question. And then want me to start, Dusty, and they could
Yeah, go
chime
ahead.
in on that one?
Mhm.
Okay. So generally, kinda, but overall, everybody kind of needs to fill those roles in different scenarios. So typically, you have guys who are just natural main slayers. They're gonna slay out. They just naturally have that slaying power. So usually those are like your main slayers, and you typically see them slaying out more and then doing objective. However, those main slayers need to know how to do the objective as well as needed, because in certain situations where maybe it's like neck and neck, they're not gonna keep slaying or like not pull the flag when needed, and they're like, oh, that's not my role, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to just keep playing out. But it kind of depends on the scenario, but overall everybody needs to be well-rounded to slay objectives, because it's a very back and forth game. You basically, when a teammate loses positions, your other teammate needs to go fill it, kind of thing.
Right.
And it just kind of keeps rotating like that, and you do what you need to do to win the game.
Yeah.
Typically, some people are. Sorry, Jessica, go ahead.
No, good. No, good.
So typically, people shine in like more objective, but overall, I mean, they just got to be overall everything, basically.
And like to add to that is like Halo is a game of inches, and if someone is taken out and like their primary role, let's just say, is like trying to hold a spawn. So there's a lot of King of the Hill game types where it's important to have spawns, more important than just getting slays. And if you have like a main slayer who doesn't understand how to fill that role, it can just screw up the entire like momentum. And it's just really important being able to understand all roles and be able to fill any of those roles at any time. So for example, like if I'm dead, and like sniper is coming up, I need someone to be able to pick up that sniper instead of just like waiting for me to spawn and then walk over there and pick it up, because that's like 20 seconds of us not having a power weapon on the map, and that's really important for pressure. Same thing with like objective. Like you really need to be on the same page, and everyone needs to be communicating. And if someone dies in the hill and you have 3 of them dead, and you have 3 up, you need to have one person, say like, okay, I'll go in the hill. Like you need to have someone, even without that communication, just jump in the hill, get that time. It's really important.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that actually makes Halo one of the most unique esports. The fact that you guys have power weapons, that like it respawns every so often. You look at a Call of Duty, CSGO, that like you spawn in with those weapons. While you guys are like, you guys have to play to, and not just that, right? You guys have invis, you guys have overshield and everything like that, right? Is it just the rockets and sniper, or is there others?
It depends again which game you're playing. So Reach, they have like your grenade launcher. Halo 5 has the what's it called, the plasma caster, right?
Yeah,
so different.
okay.
So like the Covenant grenade launcher kind of thing. So it kind of depends. There's other variations, but typically it's sniper rockets, like the primary power weapons.
Yeah, and you'll have, like you said, like power-ups here and there, and like it's a little bit different from each FPS esport. Like with COD, way more than I do, but like you have like a subclass, and you have like an assault rifle class, and you have like your entry fragger, you have your like sneaky beaver, your distract one. And then you kind of just have like your anchor, who is usually your assault rifle class that just clicks heads. But with Halo, it's kind of like Goon Squad. You want to move together as like a cohesive, rather than have like one person out and then 3 people over here. Because teams are really good at making sure to just pick off that person. And like 1v1s are really important, but it's also important like team shooting compared to like COD. It's like win your gun battles, win your peaks. Same thing with like a Valorant or CSGO. It's like you got an opper, like you got to win your peaks. And whereas like Halo, it's like I'm gonna poke out and get 2 shots in, and now you come and swap with me, and you challenge him and you finish him off.
The bait and switch.
Yeah, the bait and switch, the leapfrog, and that's like such a staple in Halo compared to like COD. It's like, all right, I'm gonna try to kill this guy, and then let's try to trade if there's more. So let's try to get a 2-for-1. Like, and you're gonna lose your life. Versus like Halo, it's like, let's double team them and let's both not die.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating when you're on the other side, because you're like, oh, he's one shot, and then he runs, and then like his 2 teammates like jump over, and you're just like trying to shoot him. You're just, oh, I'm dead.
That's the worst in any kind of like competitive Halo game. Is like, if you're calling one shot, you're calling area. You gotta call the name, otherwise they just sneak away, and they're like, you said ring 2, and I looked ring 2, and there was a guy there, and he was full shield. I'm like, I'm not lying to you. I just you gotta call the name. It's important.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next thing, going to the next topic for you guys, kind of backtracking a little bit. What is your biggest achievement in competitive? And I think we've talked about this a little bit. I know Dusty, I think a little bit more than Carlos Poseidon. But I'm genuinely interested to know, like, what in your mind is your biggest achievement in your history of playing competitive?
That's a good question. You want to go first, or me, Dusty?
Sure. I've done a lot of like LANs. I've done MLG events. I played a lot of Halo 3, Halo Reach events, and I've met a lot of really cool people, and people that I've continued to be friends with for like the past 10, 15 years. Like, and I think that was like a big achievement. Even coming into this Reach tournament was like almost like a rebirth of like seeing some of the same people, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen you people play this in 10 years. You guys all look different. But
taller.
For me, we're all old, getting the gray hairs, because it's the same kind of community. But I think my personal one has been one that I went to a Chicago LAN at Midwestern University. I heard it through like a forum on Game Battles. I'm old, I know.
Hey man, Game Battles was the place.
And I was like, I think I was in college. I was either a freshman in college or I was like junior, senior in high school, and we did a road trip. It was like me and my doubles partner, and we drove like 6 hours out to Chicago, and this venue had like 60 plus doubles teams. Like it was like 120 people trying to compete for this like big grand prize. And at the time, it was held at a university, so it's not this big grand prize. It was like $500 and an Xbox.
Still back then, you know.
Xbox
Back
360.
then, that was a lot of money back then.
And my friend Ben and I like had grinded this like really hard, and this was like the big goal because like doubles for us was like huge. That's all we would do, and we ended up winning it. We lost like our second game and got put in losers bracket, and we faced the exact same team going into the finals that we lost in the losers bracket to. And we knew that team because we had played against them online like multiple times. And in losers bracket, we played against like players that had just like picked up Halo and had never like played ranked, and they're just like social people like coming in, and those were really fun. And like coming in, I think it was a best of 7, and the maps were a lot different in like the earlier brackets. Like we were playing like really poor maps on Halo 3, like Epitaph, non-symmetrical maps, like ones that I'm not a fan of. And then like we're playing like Pit and Guardian and Amplified. And I'm like, this is my jam. I'm ready. And we played really well. We ended up winning. We got $500. We split it between the two of us. And we got an Xbox 360. I don't know why they gave us that as a prize, because like of course I have my own Xbox 360. I'm playing Halo at a tournament, but it was like, I don't know, maybe they had like a sponsor of like GameStop or something.
Still, you know,
Yeah.
again back then, that's a lot.
I just remember like sitting on like main stage and like handshaking, and like that was like a good moment. That felt really good. It was a good adrenaline rush, and I think for that I've done a lot of little FFA tourneys and like LANs, but this one like would always stick out for me.
Nice. That's awesome. That makes me happy. I love hearing stuff like that. It's awesome. I love Halo. Okay. Is that it, Dusty?
Yeah, that was.
Okay. I didn't want to cut you off. Okay. So for me, let me think about this one. It would actually probably be my first major event because I cherish that one. I would always remember that event. It was a Halo 3 Combine in Denver and it was a 4v4 tournament. It was my first major tournament I've ever done. I was a squeaker. I was like 13 years old, dude. So like I just loved Halo. And the ability to go there because my uncle, he was the one that got us into Halo back in the day with Halo 1. So going forward, when we started playing MLG and grinding, he saw that we wanted to compete. So he's like, here, I'll take you out there. And so Denver is like 6 hours away a drive from us. It wasn't too bad, but he was like, here, I'm gonna take you, and let's go. So on Xbox Live, Game Battle was trying to find a team on the forums, and we couldn't find a team until like last second. We had some people leave, and literally it was like the weekend before. Actually, not even that. It was like a couple of days before. I was teaming with Inception, and Epic Superhero, and then my brother was playing too. So these two other guys, they were good friends, and it was me and my brother a team of two. So last second, they're like, hey, like, you guys want a team for the Combine? And we're like, yeah. And they're from Cali, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. And we didn't really play with each other. We just wanted to compete. So like, let's do it, man. So we had like 1 day of practice, if that, because they left early because they drove pretty far. So we had like 1 day practice, and then we went out to Denver. I just remember being so nervous. I was just like, dude, this is my major event. I had my Astros, I had my I didn't even have any MLG gear yet. I was totally just want to play, dude. I just like want to play so bad. So, we ended up getting top 24 that tournament, and so I just remember walking into that event, and it was just like a dream come true. You're just seeing the whole event, the Doritos 10s, Dr. Pepper, Hot Pockets. It was just
Dr.
awesome.
Pepper.
Unlimited
That's when it was
Doritos and Dr.
big.
Pepper, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's all you like.
Dr. Pepper with Tom Taylor's face on it.
Yeah, man. It was exactly him holding the controller. You remember that?
That was a big sponsor for GB back in the day.
Yeah. And so that tournament, I just remember us warming up and just playing, and it was awesome. It was just like a dream come true. I was ready, and I remember playing our first match. I'm always gonna remember this. We were playing Construct Slayer. So this was only best of three. So they did the very first like 6, 7 rounds were Slayer flag Slayer, because there was a bunch of teams. There was like 200 and or maybe like it was like around 200. It was packed. I don't even remember the exact amount, but there was a ton of teams, kids everywhere. So anyways, our first game was Construct Slayer, and we had the jitters. I was nervous. I was just like I was drinking Dr. Pepper, Sugar High, and Dorito fingers. I was just
Literally vibrating
nervous.
out of his chair.
Yeah, little squeaker me. But yeah, I just remember playing. We were just getting destroyed at first. We were just getting dominated, and we were like, those tournament nerves. And I remember it was like 24 to like 36, 38, and then like something just clicked. All of us just started working together. We brushed the jitters off like mid game. This is our first game of the day, and we ended up bringing it back. And I remember it was like 49-48. We had them in back gold spawn, and they're like close gold. And I remember I was like R1, and I saw the spawn because they spawned close street. And I remember just screaming my little lungs out, dude, just like screaming close street, high pitch, breaking the mic. You hear you don't even hear anything. And my team, everybody just threw nades, and we just got the last 2 kills. And I remember that first win, that taste of victory of not even the whole match, just the first map, was like the best thing ever. And that just gave us momentum. So we ended up 2-0ing them, and then we ended up going to winners round 4. We were play this. I guess they were like known. I have no idea who we were playing, but like there was a bunch of people watching them, and they're like, I guess like known people. I don't even know who it was. And then you just have us. They're way older, so we were just playing, and we brought it all the way to game 3, and we were so close to beating them, man. It was 49-49 pit, and we knew Ovi was coming up. It was stalemate. Again, that game 5 Slayer that we're talking about. So 49-49. We knew Custom was coming up, so he timed it. Unfortunately, he got it. So our teammate was trying to backsmack him, literally like right behind him, trying to get the lunge. It wasn't giving him the lunge, and he ended up killing our teammate. So we were like that close to moving forward. And then we got down to losers bracket, and we ended up going. So that was losers bracket round 4 or 5, and then we ended up going to losers. We lost last game of the night. Was like losers 8, I believe. So we needed one more game to make it to Championship Sunday. So that would have been top 16. So we were top 24.
Oh.
Sucked, man. It was crazy. It was fun. I just loved the event because I was just slaying out. And it was just fun. It was a fun experience. That was definitely one of my accomplishments. And Anaheim, too. And then tons of online tournaments, of course. But small, like FFA. I won a couple Reach FFA tournaments towards the end. Back in the prime. Halo 4, I came in second like 3 times back to back for FFA. Could not get that first place. It was close, but what's it called? And just tons of online tournaments, tons of online. So.
Gosh, Halo 4 FFA was so hard in my opinion because like the time to kill, the TTK was like instant, especially like with a team shot. Whereas like Halo 3 is just very more methodical. Like a lot of players are playing it a lot slower, but Halo 4 FFA was just like such a cluster.
It really was.
It was.
Would you say that's like the fastest like out of all the Halo games for like the TTK? Because that's what I hated about Halo. That's what made me show how bad I was.
Maybe Halo 2 original, and then maybe Halo 4.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I knew I sucked at Halo. The fact that I couldn't kill everyone because they had shield. Alright, that's what made me switch to COD, because it's easy to kill people.
Yeah, you and a lot of people, though. Like, because Halo 3 was super strong. It was one of, like, the big FPS games out there. And then Modern Warfare came out. And then so many people dropped Halo. They're like, I like Modern Warfare. There's so many guns. I don't have to go pick up the gun. I can just spawn with it. And
yeah.
What was it like?
Really changed it.
I think, obviously, I think I went from Halo 3, stopped playing, then I kind of came back for Halo 5. So, Halo Reach every once in a while, but it was like what 3 headshots for Halo 3 for a kill, and then like 4 shots with the BR for a body shot. Yes, no, am I
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, that's good.
Three bodies and 1 head, so it's a 4 shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or it
Close
could be
enough.
all heads. You can shoot the toe 3 times and then shoot the head, whatever.
Unless you're lagging, then it's like a 10 shot. You know.
Yeah. The difference between LAN and online play with Halo 3 is just astronomical.
Yeah.
I mean, as with any esport at this point, right?
Yeah.
You know, especially
Yeah.
back in the day.
Hmm.
I find it so funny how vividly you guys remember these tournaments, right? These matches, like how close you were, where everyone was. And you guys have been playing for a while. I mean, both of your stories were pretty much like Halo 3. You guys have been saying you've been playing since minimum.
Yeah. That's when I started competing. Halo 3.
That was me as well. I watched a lot of Halo 2. Like I would play it like online, and I just remember watching like the Vegas finals, like final boss, like Walshy, Strongside, and the Ogre Twins, like them being like this big thing, and even like earlier, like Saiyan, versus like Carbon. It was this huge match, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to play Halo competitively. And I remember like asking my parents, like when I was high school, I'm like, can I go to Dallas? Can I go to Anaheim? And like they're like, no. And then I started doing like online tournaments. I'm like, look at this. I'm winning money. Can I go do this? And they're like, okay, fine. But it like I remember it being like surreal, like going to one of those, and I'm like thinking like I'm gonna be like top shot, like hot shit. And it's like such a reality check when you get there because it's
It's
the
everyone
best
like
of
you.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like the pinnacle of
It
players.
is. Just like Anaheim.
Yeah.
You know, when we went
Yeah,
last
great.
year.
We played
Walk
really
into.
well.
You know, same thing. It just the whole environment, the whole event. Like I always
Mhm.
remember down to the T. You know, generally
Mhm.
awesome. The magic bean.
I still got it. Yeah, here we go. Got the fucking magic.
Dude, let's
bean,
go.
Excuse me? There has to be a story behind this.
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. All right, so it's a Zippo hand warmer. I got these when I played like League of Legends competitively, and it's for like snowboarders to like put in their pockets to keep their hands warm. Because you see a lot of hand warmers like in esports, but this one's great because you can turn it on and turn it off and recharge it. It's great. And that Anaheim, that DreamHack Convention Center was cold. It was so cold. Everyone was wearing their sweatshirts. Like we all had our team shirts, but they were t-shirts, so we really weren't like wearing them. I was just wearing my sweatshirt, and we were passing around the bean to keep our hands warm because everyone was cold, and we were kind of getting iced out since the games were taking so long to start. So
Yeah. So when we're doing our losers bracket run before our matches, like, where's the bean? Let's touch the bean. You know. And then like, after we had a solid tournament, you know, we were happy, but a little disappointed in our placing. But at the end, I took a picture of the bean on the main stage. I was like, the magic bean, they got us top 24. It was just cool, man. 'Cause this one was, where's the bean? Right
It was a
here.
good memory.
It was all nice and warm. I was like, no, it was fun.
Is that where that picture was from, Dusty? Where it's like you behind, you're wearing your Cloud9. Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah, that was the first day. Because Poseidon has the exact same picture as well
Oh,
too.
really? I didn't see that.
He's like, hey Dusty, you want to take a picture of me up there? I'm like, yeah, sure, I take it. And I'm like, looking up at him, like, can you take one of me too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
'Cause
was- It was good.
it was perfect because there was like nobody there. I was like, dude, this is our chance. Like it was a cool shot, and I was like, do it. So
got
Dusty's
an eye
famous
for that.
picture was photographer right here.
Hey,
No,
you're
it was
hired.
cool. It was cool. It was a good picture. I was like, dang, I still look at it and I was like, dude, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, for
Love it.
sure. And I got like a good like reaction like from my Twitter of it because it's a lot of like my Twitter is like furry and LGBT stuff, and like people were like, whoa, this is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked professionally done. He showed me that. He's like, yeah, this is the guy that I want us to be our coach. And I'm like, this guy looks like a fucking professional. What the fuck?
I got you, Dusty.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I didn't know that. Now I know the cameraman behind the picture. Okay.
And mine too, Dusty.
Hey,
You hire us both.
And I need to see that. You have to show me that. I'm actually kind of jealous. You know, all the tournaments I've ever been to has always been like free for alls. It was never going with a team and like experiencing that with everyone, like actually sitting down with a crew of people. It was always free for alls. It was always me going to like a GameStop tournament, just being that one guy, being like, "Yep, it's my turn."
Yeah, yeah.
Those are some of the best though. Like I have like the best memories doing like little GameStop tournaments, and because like you see such a plethora of different like players, but everyone's there to appreciate and love the game. Versus like an MLG event. Don't get me wrong, I love MLG events, but it's like the sweaty boys are they're getting out their MLG sweatbands, and like they're going like super hardcore, like popping Addy, drinking Red Bull. Whereas like the GameStop tournaments, it's like the little 15-year-old that their dad drove him there, and it's like, let's have some fun.
Drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
You know?
Code Red Mountain Dew. Yeah.
What would you guys say is in your time of like playing and everything like that? Which pros do you think you've watched the most? You know that you watch and you go, okay, I want like those are the people that I can say that I want to take things from that I watch them and go, okay, that's a great idea. Little notepad, take some notes. Like, who are those pros that you guys watched?
You want to go first?
Okay.
I can go first.
You got it. Yeah.
We're too nice. You first. No, you
I'll hold
first.
the door open for you.
Yeah. Growing up as a kid, so I was a fan of Instinct and Roy and Lunchbox, the duo.
Okay.
Those pros I grew up watching and inspired me. I love the way Roy has a slaying power, and he would work with his brother. His brother had objective, supportive, like plays, but also can slay out. Like I love watching those guys. They're solid. They just had great communication, inspiring, man. Growing up as a kid, I was just watch. I love like instantly I saw them. I was like, man, like you guys are good. They stood out to me. I was like, I want to be like that. And watching them growing up and watching them just dominate, win tournaments. And they were always the duo. They're always together. There would be those two, but there's a lot of pros. There's a lot. I could go a lot of pros. LMI Warrior, another one I love to watch. Of course, back in the day, T Squared. Yeah, legit snipe down. Like
Give him the back.
Ace.
Oh,
Enable back in the day. I used to like watching Enable when he was on Status Quo, just tearing
Mr.
it up.
No
He's a
Thumb?
COD pro. Yeah, dude.
Insane.
I remember watching him just dominate back in the day. He was good, man. APG. That's a hard question because there's so many good pros that I love to watch and just take everything from them and take it as my own and learn. And it's crazy how much you can learn from just watching those guys. Definitely. Different moves, positioning, timings, how they play. But definitely a lot of those pros. But definitely the top two, Roy and Lunchbox for me.
And are they still playing, the twins?
No, they've been retired for a couple years now.
Oh. Okay.
They got jobs, careers, married, kids now.
Amen.
It was Lunchbox was the. Hold on, I'm trying to think here. Lunchbox was the first to kind of stop playing. So Roy, I believe, was playing a couple Halo 5 events without him. So it was kind of weird to see him play. He was playing on Evil Geniuses. Oh no, I'm sorry. He was playing. That was after. So he was playing on. What team was that? I can't
Come on,
think.
testing your knowledge, man.
Was it Reciprocity with Snipe Down?
Oh, it was Reciprocity. Yes.
And then
Reciprocity. And Pistola, Down, and
Really? Wasn't Pistola on Envy?
he was
after. Yeah.
after,
Because
yeah.
this was anniversary, right?
And then in Halo 5, what's it called? Yeah, he was playing by himself, so it was kind of odd to see that. It was kind of. I mean, they were the duo for long. It's like the Ogre twins. They were the duo gods, and then like those guys. It was kind of weird seeing him by himself, but it was cool. I still loved watching him. So.
What about you,
for
Dusty?
me, I would say that there's a couple as well. If I had to, like, if you put a gun to my head, like, you pick one, I would probably say Ogre 2. In my opinion, he's the GOAT, greatest player of all time. Most titles behind him. He is the kind of guy who can, like, pick up 3 just solo queue players and like whip them into shape, turn them into like legends, and like that's what Final Boss had been looking like. And just like seeing him like in Halo 2, a lot of people like David Walsh, like Walshy with his crazy claw and his insane BXRs and his quad shots.
He played Claw. That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he did. Like he used the old fashioned Halo or the old fashioned Xbox controller, the big fat one that was bigger than your head. He used that.
The Duke.
Yeah, the dude. Oh, but I just remember like seeing him like play that claw like in clips, and it was just godlike. But I digress. Like Ogre 2 for me has been like the biggest goat for Halo 2. Halo 3, like you were a big fan of like Instinct, Poseidon, and like for me, I would say I was a huge fan of Straight Rippin', and Triggers Down. I thought Eric was an amazing, or Snipe Down. I thought Snipe Down was just above the rest when it came to like snipes. Like, you know, like Shig was a great sniper, like Hysteria was a great sniper, like, you know, people like would pull those out, but like the angles that Eric would Snipe Down would make just would blow my mind watching him play on main stage. And I'm like, I didn't know that was an angle, and I would like take that into my games, and like you would use that and people would be like, what's happening?
You're a
And
nerd.
Yeah.
and like he was like such a good young player to see him play alongside of like a veteran like, you know, T Square Tom Taylor, Elamite and Legit, like that Straight Rippin' lineup in my opinion was like one of the best Halo 3 lineups. And it's like they broke up and like they moved on, like Legit, Elamite and Snipe Down like moved to like Triggers Down and Instinct, and they kind of went around. But like I would have to say like Snipe Down for Halo 3. And just moving past that, like Roy, if you could make a stat of like the best 1v1 player, I think Roy would win.
Yeah.
Roy doesn't lose his VR battles, and I think a lot of people would say like you look up to someone who is like a solid player that you can just put in an arena 1v1, like Roy will hold their own for sure.
Yeah, he was known for his BR.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
He did not miss. That man did not miss.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I think Halo, everyone always talks about Walshy, not me. I mean, in my experience at least, I hear the name Walshy more so than I hear Ogre 2. But you were just telling me Ogre 2 has the most wins out of every other Halo player.
He has the most titles behind his name.
So what? Who's better? Who's the? I mean, sure, they're both goats, right? They're still at that pedestal. Who would be better, right? What makes one better than the other? Is it really just the titles?
Well, David Walsh follows me on Twitter, so I gotta say David Walsh. But
hey, that's cool.
No, I would say Ogre too, because Walshy had gone to Instinct and didn't find too much success there. He had tried making his own teams of like Soldier 187 and a couple other like players, bringing them in, and it wasn't as good in my opinion as like when Ogre 2 brought in like Pistola and like Fear itself, and they were still like at the top competing for like the best Halo team. And I think it also shows like Walshy was such a good Halo 2 player, and then he became like a middle of the pack Halo 3 player. I say that, but he's like still one of the best of all times. But
Yeah, very
Ogre
fine
2.
line there, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
And Ogre 2 was still like, you could argue that he could be one of the best players still.
Interesting. And Walshy's like a commentator now, right? He's a caster.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen that. And I know I've talked to you about this, Dusty, but Ogre 2 is now the owner of one of the top competitive Call of Duty leagues in the CDL, which I thought was super cool.
I had no idea until you told me that, and I looked into it. I'm like, good for him. I'm glad he's staying in esports. Like, that's his blood, is esports.
And actually what happened was, because like obviously in more recent years we've had more Halo players kind of come over to the Call of Duty scene, and one of them being Frosty. And we'll get into that because he's one of my favorite players to watch. That Ogre 2 picked up Frosty to his team. And the caption was when they announced him was saying that like Frosty apparently dropped him from his team at one point, and now Ogre 2 is asking him to be on his team. I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Full circle. Nice. I like that. That's really cool. Good history.
I think my only like history of really like watching, I mean religiously for a team, would be the Optic Dynasty. Once CLG won champs, and then got acquired by Optic. That Royal 2, Snakebite, Lethal, Frosty. Just, I mean, I learned other people like a McWin, Stellar, Shotzi. But those are all like newer players. I mean, Pistola.
Yep.
But like Frosty, man, I from the day one of me watching him and Snakebite are just absolute monsters. And so I can only imagine. I mean, has Snakebite been playing all this time in like the reign, the realm that was Halo 3 with like a wall sheet or like an Ogre 2?
With Snakebite, yeah, he's always been a top tier player. Back in that realm, I'm trying to remember, he wasn't. He was more of like a middle high tier. I don't know how to describe that, but like he wasn't like with the straight ripping squad or like all these top tiers, but he was definitely a top player, if that makes sense. Am I describing that right? Like he was
Yeah.
there. You can see tournaments. He was playing and doing well,
Mhm.
dominating. And then more as the years came and he got older, he started getting more fame and winning more tournaments. Definitely, I think Halo 5 is when he really blew up. Definitely.
Because
Really?
Snakebite was on status quo during like Halo Reach days, which was like one of those top teams. I think he actually played with Enable. I can't remember if I'm right or not.
I think so.
He
Yeah,
played
it
on
was
like
him, Enable, and Maniac.
yeah, oh yeah, and like
Oh,
just
Maniac.
oh that's a name I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
But like he's always been like a good player. I don't think he was like he wasn't there at the beginning when like Halo 3 was starting to get like really big, or even Halo 2. So I think uh, that's why people like tend to like say like the word like the name wall sheet because wall sheet's been in the community for so long. But like recency bias, like Snakebite is definitely one of like the best players.
I mean, we just talked about like how, how often have you guys watched like a flame sword or like a maniac? Like to my knowledge, like I mean that those are like the first Halo names besides like a Walshy, obviously from my friends that like I knew were Halo players. Looking at it now, like I don't think they ever like did anything, right? They seem like a very middle of the pack kind of players, kind of teams. Am I right? I mean,
Yeah, I think they were top players, but not as flashy. Like you get those
Mhm.
flashy players who are like, okay, T2, because if Walshy, you see their name, but Flame Sword, he was a good player, man. He still is. He
He's
still
very
plays.
solid.
Very solid. I just think people just didn't see as many flashy plays that he did, and he was good. I will give him
Mhm.
that. He's a top player for sure. He had the chemistry. He has the mindset. He knows what it takes to be a top player. I just
Mhm.
think some of the plays it just didn't like like what am I trying to say here? Just didn't wasn't as flashy, as these other players.
Mhm.
You tend to look at the player who has a sniper and is getting all these crazy shots, but you don't look at the player who's making sure he's blocking these spawns so that player could get those shots. You know what I mean?
the dirty
I think
work.
that's what
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what Flame Sword, that's what his role is. He knows how to slay out, he knows how to hold those positions, but he just not as
Mhm.
flashy as these other top pros. But definitely I would
Mhm.
consider him still top.
Did Flame Sword was he a coach at one point for Optic or something like that or
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
yeah.
Because I know
He's
like he
smart.
stopped playing. It was like Maniac, um, Straight Sick, Ace, and like some other guy. Assault, I think his name was.
Mm.
And they picked up like Stellar for a little bit, and that didn't work out, even though Stellar became a world champion. But yeah. So okay, that's interesting. I always wondered, seeing it from you guys' point of view, from like those two players that, in my eyes, got a lot of screen time because of what Optic does, social media wise, and everything like that, and still to this day. Um, okay. Um, so as a good transition for you guys, the new Halo Infinite, coming
Man.
out. You know,
Can't help but smile when I hear those words. I'm so ready.
you
Can
know.
you say that again? One more time.
I think Thanos, and to those who don't know, watching the podcast, one of our other Halo streamers, every single one of his tweets is like, "I am so ready for Infinite." Every single one, right? Has it been delayed? Is it still coming out this year? Do we know?
It is confirmed it's coming out this year. and there's no confirmed date. They said, is it winter of 2021 is what they said?
I will bet money that it's going to be on the 20th anniversary. I will bet you money that it's going to be, I think, November 16th.
That's
Just my
20th
idea.
anniversary. I'm gonna put that on my calendar.
I'm just putting that out there. Someone said that to me, and I'm like a light bulb went off. Like, oh yeah, they always release in November. So,
Okay.
Did you hear the rumor of Tashi sent about the Infinite event this year?
no.
So Tashi sent something out, and he was just like, he just sent a picture, and it shows like, I don't, nobody knows where it's at. It's like a picture, and you like by a river, a lake. I'm not sure, or more of a lake, not a river. But and he just like just confirmed. What did he say? Just confirmed the dates and event space for Infinite in 2021, if COVID goes well or something like that, or it gets better. So everybody's like flipping their minds. They're like, 2021, like what? That's this year, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
said, confirmed, Halo Infinite event. Now the question is like, when, how, why, you know? So it's gonna be interesting. Is it gonna turn into like a Halo 4? Remember when Halo 4 came out? They had an event before the actual release date. So
God.
you know what I mean? I wonder if they're gonna do that, a big bang, a Halo Infinite event where the game's not even released yet, and like maybe release a couple days after. Because if you think of the timing of Infinite, if it comes out in say November, October, September, where would you would have to put that event somewhere close to that, because
Yeah.
you can't go too close to the holidays
Right, the
because of
holidays.
travel, or something like that. I never, so it's kind of interesting.
What if they
Everybody,
have it during like a beta? Because people are talking about like beta dropping this summer, but like
That'd
again,
be
it's just a
amazing.
rumor.
that would be crazy.
If they had like a
We're
beta
going.
tournament.
A big Dusty, pack your bags.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
down.
dude, we're
I'm
going.
there.
That's it.
I'm there.
Oh, that'd be really cool. For you said Halo 4, they kind of did that where they had like like a tournament. Was it just an invitational for like the top teams, or was it like a everyone's welcome, come on in?
No, it was everybody welcome. It was in Dallas,
That's
MLG
awesome.
event,
Oh, fuck.
and it was the weekend before the game came out. So the game came out on a Tuesday, so that weekend they had a event. So they had a Halo 4 event, and it was interesting because nobody played. So they had a large warm-up session that Friday, I believe. Normally when the FFA takes place, so everybody was just playing, screaming, learning the game, and then they competed Saturday and Sunday. And I believe the Warriors ended up winning that event, and I think that wasn't that with Ninja and
Ninja
Ryan Noob
Yikes.
and
Goofy.
was it Goofy? And who's the other one? It was so long ago.
Pistola? Or was it like someone
No,
else?
been somebody else.
Cloud? No. I don't.
Boo
It was so
Doo.
long ago. Mm-mm.
No.
Booba Dooba didn't get big until Halo 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But do you know the story behind the Warriors for that Halo 4 tournament, Poseidon?
Mm-mm.
They got the game 2 weeks before the tournament.
Really? Oh, you know what? I think you were saying
That's
something like
fucking.
that.
I hate that.
It's so scummy.
100%.
But like they can't confirm it, but like people were like talking about it.
Was
And,
that Ninja's team? That you just said it was Ninja's team, right?
And
Yeah.
I got the game a week before it came out, and I just knew a GameStop employee. He just gave me the game. Like, how easy would it be for Halo Pro to get it a week even before I did?
Yeah.
Like, if
And-
I can do it.
And didn't you say your Xbox got IP banned or something?
Yeah,
You
my
keep
Xbox
trying
got-
to play.
Yeah, so there's the story. I have 2 Xboxes because of stupid tournament. Yeah, so I had the original Xbox, the release date Xbox 360, the ones that always got the red ring of death. Knock on wood, I never got it. But I had 2 at the time, and I had the elite one, and then I had the old school one, and I put it in the old school one because the old school one had like a bigger hard drive, and it banned me, like insta banned my account. Luckily I wasn't like signed into any account, so it just banned my Xbox, and I could not go on Xbox Live on that Xbox ever again. I
Wow.
was bricked basically. I deserved it, but you know what? I had a lot of fun like running around the campaign and beating it like a week before, because I'd invite friends over and like we would just grab a couple beers and like we'd play campaign. And I remember like thinking like, oh, this campaign's really cool. And then I replayed it and I'm like, I think I had some rose-colored glasses on because it was it was not bueno.
I mean, COD players do that too. I think it was like this last game that came out when we had like it was like $4 million prize pool for the year. And all of a sudden, all the pros were playing it like a week early, and they're all streaming it on Twitch. And you're like, "Excuse me, hold on, oh, wait a minute."
Yeah.
I mean, I digress, but like Ninja was on that team that got it. Ninja was never like this, at least to my knowledge, never like a top tier. He was always like that middle ground. Yes? No?
Flashy.
Yeah.
Very flashy player.
Yeah, he was known for his kind of like comedy play. He did a lot of content streaming at the time. So he was just like a funny guy to watch. He was good. I think he did win a couple tournaments. So you know, you give him that, but he was never top tier. Like I don't think he won a tournament in Halo 5. Halo 4, I know he won a couple. Reach, I don't think he won any. I know he was on pro circuit, but trying to think. But he won a couple events, but was never like a top dog. He was just known making YouTube's 1v1s against Suddits and Reach and
Oh god,
wearing a cow hat, you know.
Yeah. Oh god, I remember those clips. Yeah,
You
one of
know.
like the first like players that would really stream regularly on Twitch for Halo, and you didn't have too many Halo pros that would do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where like he became really recognizable, and like you said, like his antics, and he was just known as like the ADHD kid. Like he was just so hyper, and just all of his reactions were like super over the top. And it was fun because no one really liked the Suddits twins, and when Ninja would just like stomp them, people would just be like cheering, like "Yeah, kill him!"
Like
you know,
trolling them. Yeah.
just straight up trolling them. Yeah.
He was wearing like a cow hat, and he just like playing like this, and you just see the cow the whole time, like in the webcam. It's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I remember he got this nasty no scope on one of the Suddits, and like he just like threw his headset, ran all the way down the hallway. Oh my god, you know that's what he was really known for, just funny. And like Dusty was saying, at the time there was not much pros streaming, so he was just like fun to watch, and he was definitely a lot better back then than now. I don't know. I was kind of talking about this in my streams lately, but the old Ninja versus the new Ninja, there's totally different personalities, definitely.
Completely.
Oh, 100%. I don't think he's. I think then the game comes out. I mean, unless there's a VR, and we'll talk about that. Like he's probably never gonna touch Halo again.
Yeah. He tried to play Reach when it first came out on PC again. He posted like one video. He's like, "I'm back," and then like that was it. Like you never saw him like
JK.
ever again.
Yeah.
And
keyboard, and I think he kind of had that like epiphany, like this is not my game anymore. I play BRs, and
going into Infinite, I'm genuinely curious. You guys have been playing Halo for God knows how long. Let's say 10 plus years easily, right? What is one thing that this game needs to succeed?
VR, battle rifle.
if you had to point like one thing, I would agree. 100%.
Okay.
That
The
is
battle
the
rifle.
staple of Halo.
Now, what about competitive?
Symmetrical maps, like normal symmetrical maps, and enough of them. Like when Halo 3 came out, when Halo Reach came out, even when Halo 5 came out, there were so minimal of competitive integrity maps, and like I think it comes down to a lot of like spawns and like weapon pushing and like strongholds, like where you want to set up. And you look at Halo 3, a lot of these maps like Pit or Construct, Onslaught, Amplified, you can literally cut in half like a pizza, and it's symmetrical on both sides. Doesn't matter what team you're on, red or blue side. And I don't think Halo 5 did a really good job of that until later, until bringing in a couple more of those. And I think that's, if we want pure like competitive integrity, we need to have like good weapon mechanics, like a battle rifle, because you pointed any Halo, and the battle rifle is always like everyone's favorite.
What
Even in
about the
Halo 5,
pistol?
people are like, I like the battle rifle, screw the pistol. But even though pistol is its own like monster. Um, but yeah, I think it has to have good aim mechanics with a battle rifle, and it's got to have good maps. It really does. You can bring in cross-platform, you can bring in mouse and keyboard, but what's going to keep people there is the maps and the replayability of these maps.
I agree, 100%.
What are your thoughts on what we would consider legacy maps? Maps from older games, possibly, that you would only play in like a private match for those competitive aspects, those competitive tournaments. Do you think that's viable? You think there's maps that you can say like, yes, that's a map, that's a classic that we could always bring back, that would always be a fan favorite for the competitive scene?
That's an interesting question because it kind of depends on the movement of Halo. So the movement since Halo 5 changed where it's a lot of sprint, spring jumping, more mechanics of compared to the classic Halo. You hear this conversation quite a bit. That will kind of determine the way you bring older maps. Because if you think about it now, if you bring back like Guardian or what's a like
Guardian with
Heretic
running.
or
And
let's say, well, the truth is a little bigger than Heretic. Hold on, these are bad examples. Like, oh, it's a good one. Like Amplified, Onslaught, classic MLG Halo 3 maps. They would have to. It depends on the movement. You can't bring Halo 5 movement in those maps. It just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't have the same function. So it really comes down to movement, um, mechanics. I think is will kind of depend is on the maps they bring back. But definitely, depending on that, I definitely easily could bring back classic maps. They've done it many times. Sank has been in a bunch of games. Um, Heretic, Midship Heretic. Even some non-competitive maps like Lockout, Blackout. What's the what's um the other four, three,
yes,
whatever. It's
Lockout, Blackout, yeah.
Blackout. I do know
yeah.
that map. That was in like Halo 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it
Blackout
turned in
was the Halo 3.
Blackout.
That was Halo 3.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Worst doubles map.
yeah, but definitely, I think they should. I think they should, but it just kind of depends on the movement, really.
I 100% agree with that. And you see a lot, like you were saying, like a lot of maps that can sometimes go over. So, like for example, you see Battle Canyon or Beaver Creek from Halo 1 to Halo 2 to Halo 3 to even Halo Reach, and then you never see it again.
Hmm.
Just because player movement has really like changed and just kind of like the mechanics of the game. Um, but then you see like maps like Pit or like Sank or Heretic make it, and they put like a little twist on it. Like Halo 5, they kind of spun it a little bit, which I think is really good to be able to keep that like freshness of it. It doesn't need to be like a paint over of any of these maps, but I would love to see like another like Guardian or Pit or any of these
Yeah.
like classic maps. I think that's gonna give me like the nostalgia. The boomer in me is gonna really love that. But I want to see some like, yeah, they've worked on this for a while. They better have something up their sleeves that's gonna wow me.
Bring back Narrows, imagine. Oh man.
No, you guys really. I very much dislike Narrows.
That is my favorite Halo 2 map or Halo 3 doubles map. That's such a fun map.
I
God,
love Narrows because it would teach you to work with your team. If you don't work with your team, you get punished for it.
it's probably
Course.
why I sucked.
You know, and it's so hard because for the longest time you're like, do I push? Do I help? Do I not? Do I stay back? What do I do? It's a difficult map, definitely.
You gotta get a feel of like where your teammates are on that. But there's only one lane, so it's not
Right.
super hard to think about with narrows, but it can make or break a game if you are playing without like teammates, or you know that right now shouldn't be a time that I'm gonna push, but you're trying to ego check them, and just like soar out of like freaking mohawk or like half row and just ego challenge people and you just get
Yeah.
punished.
Okay. Running or no running? Do you guys prefer it? You okay with it? Have you grown to love it?
um, No.
It's gotta
No.
be.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll say this though. I'm biased because the new generation of gaming, you got to be able to run it. You know, it's kind of like I'm not a fan. Classic Halo doesn't have sprint. I grew up playing that, but you know, nowadays it's just kind of like that natural meta. You know, Halo 5 has it, but
Mhm.
you know, it's gonna be a thing to just adapt to and enjoy because I think without sprint, people are like, oh, Halo, Spartan can't sprint, like, you know, even though he's sprinting, but you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's always going to be there from now on, unfortunately. And they did show it in the demo presentation, so you know it's coming. I think it's just sprint. Um, you know, just, it's going to be there. Just gotta just love it. You know, it's in Call of Duty. So, you know, just one of those things you just gotta get.
Yeah, I think coming from like old school competitive, I don't like it either. I completely agree with you there. I think like one of my happiest moments was playing Halo Reach competitive, and they took off Bloom and they took off Sprint, and I'm like, yes, it's Halo again. Felt like Halo. Um, and then Halo 4, Sprint, and Halo 5, like, Sprint and clamoring and all that fun jazz. But that's what shooters are turning into, is these very high intense movement ability sprint mechanics, because it feels good as a player to break someone's ankles, and to like thruster pack off of like their reticle polar magnetism off with the pistol, and then they shoot blindly into the air for the next 3 shots. Like it feels good being able to outstrafe someone. um, and I think this game has the opportunity to meet the needs of the casual and competitive player with sprint. And I think Halo 5 did a good job with that. Um, I just don't think the thing that Halo 5 was kind of lacking that I want to see from Halo Infinite is better maps. And I think better quality, rather than it being much more of a vertical map, make it much more of like a lane dominant map, or like a high ground versus like there's like 4 levels of this like sniper tower or whatnot. Rather it just be the team that has like the best shot rather than the team that has the best movement.
And I mean, especially if we're going to be doing this BR that everyone's kind of wanting to, you kind of need that sprint mechanic at least a little bit, right? I can't imagine a Spartan just walking across a, humongous, ginormous map the whole time.
Yeah.
He's just really menacing. He's like a super villain. Just can't run. He just chase you down slowly.
He's just a Michael Myers the whole time. Just walks towards everyone.
His suit does weigh a ton, they say in the books, or something like that.
So going into the BR, have you guys played a lot of BRs? I mean between like H1Z1, obviously Call of Duty. Like, do you guys have a lot of experience like playing different BRs? Have you tried it?
I can go first with this.
I'll go after.
I think a lot of competitive Halo players, or just competitive like shooter people, like people who are into Counter-Strike or Valorant or even like Halo, are very like precision style games, where it's about making sure you're hitting your shots and having good like player awareness, map awareness, and movement. And I think the thing that I've heard from a lot of people is that they don't like BRs for the fact that it's random weapons. They're just kind of scattered throughout the map. You go in, you hot drop, and you could get really lucky, with like a gold gun, or R9 with like perfect stuff, or you drop and you get a Mozambique in the same exact spot, just different games. Whereas Halo, I know where the sniper is going to be. I know where Poseidon's going to be pushing jump up, so I can look there every time. um, but but I know that Poseidon will always have the BR, rather than he's going to spawn with an SMG or a like jump down and get a plasma pistol, or he'll have a bubble shield. And I think that takes away a lot from the skill of the game, but it makes it more fun. And that's why Apex is one of like the biggest games out there. Why BRs are so fun and like so incredible to watch. Like they're like the #1 streaming thing, because people really like to see something different each time they tune in. And BRs do a good job at kind of mixing it up, always mixing the puzzle pieces up. And you have to be a player that is able to adjust what the tools are given, and that's why you see like those people who play those BR games usually don't play other like competitive shooters. You see a couple out there, like Snipe Down is a really good example of it, where he's like one of the top Apex players, like in the North America scene, and he can jump into any shooter. But like you take a couple of these other top ones, and they're just BR gods. You put them into a team of 4v4, like in like CS:GO, and they can't do it. They just can't. They need their wall jumps and their hook shots and their invisibility stuff. And I think Halo has the ability with the lore that it has to make things like that. I think that's exciting, and I hope that it brings a lot of new players in. And that's what I'm hopeful for Halo Infinite's competitive scene. If we can bring some more players in, some hungry people who want to get good at the next shooter, whether it be a BR or whatnot, I think it has the opportunity to just flourish as a game. That's me really crossing my fingers because the last couple too have been disappointing.
For me, yeah, I used to play a lot of Blackout when it first came out, right? My Call of Duty or Black Ops 3, 4? 4? I don't
Black
even
Ops
know,
4, yeah.
remember. 4. I used to play with a group of friends quite a bit. And it was like, squad up, where are we dropping? And then it was a good change back in the day, from the grind from Halo to go play that. So I did play that. It was fun. Actually, when we would play that, it was fun. I liked kind of like dropping random places and just kind of finding random weapons. We would like to drop straight down sometimes in the hot zones and just see if we could live.
I drop it.
Yeah. Rescue it, drop down. Are you serious? Go, 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 go. So definitely, it was fun. I had my fair share. It was just for fun. I never did anything, like try to compete. I know they have like tournaments and stuff.
Big. There's a lot of tournaments
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, we had some wins and it was fun. Funny story, I remember this one match, it was coming down to like the last circle, and I don't even remember the places where it was, but it was like this kind of gas station, and there was a bunch of teams. It was four of us, and we were like joking around, let's go in this house and let's just go in the bathroom. And we're like, what? All right, so you just see us go from like the riverbed, come through the back door, and we're all in the bathroom, literally like totem pole on the toilet. And we're just like waiting, and we're like, all right, dude, whoever comes through that door, we're just gonna melt him. And so the circle started coming shorter and shorter and shorter. You just see people dying and grenades and like blowing up. And then it was funny because the second to last guy was like panicking, and there was like a cash register like kind of counter, and he's like getting shot at, and then he opens the door and all four of us just freaking lay into him, and he just gets blasted, and then we just soar out, dude, and we blast the other guy that was in like the alley, whatever it was right there, and we ended up getting the win. It was just so funny, man. I remember that story. But besides that game, I played Fortnite like once. I didn't like it. I played it because when it first came out, everybody was like, oh, "Play this game, it's free," and I was like, "What? Fortnite? What is that?" So I tried it. I just
Turned to
couldn't do
garbage
it.
real quick. I don't blame
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I played it once, and I was like, I can't do it. Besides that, and then I played the new, when Modern Warfare came out. I played it a couple times, with some coworkers, but nothing too crazy. But are you asking too if Halo would come out with a BR?
I think it's been confirmed, right?
Has it?
Yeah, it has not been confirmed yet,
Okay.
but there's a lot of rumors. And my thoughts, if Halo Infinite came out with the BR mode, I think that would be amazing for the game. I really think
I
that would
agree with
be
that.
such a like new element to Halo, that new
Mhm.
fresh feeling. And I feel it would bring tons of people. They always talk about dropping in ODST pods around the maps, and you're picking up weapons, and they kind of already have like attachments and stuff in Halo 5 with the Warzone, they call it.
Mhm.
So they kind of have the elements there already. They
Yeah.
would just have to kind of implement it in the Halo universe. And there's tons of like they could really do it, I think. Warzone has huge maps. So they already have the huge map concept. So I think Halo Infinite, if it were to come out with a BR mode, that would be amazing. Me and Dusty be like, "Where are we dropping, dude?" Josh, where are we dropping, dude? Like,
I'd definitely be playing.
I think it would be fun. I think it'd be great for the game. I'm all for it. I don't know if I would compete. Maybe. I love Halo. Anything, I play any tournaments. But definitely playing with the boys after like a long day of scrimming or something. Hey, let's play a couple. I don't know what
Ended
we're
on
gonna call it.
ended on a fun note. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun, especially with the power ups, and like Halo 5 has a lot of those elements. They could change and transform into a BR mode easily. Easily. I think that's why they haven't confirmed it, but everybody's like, dude, it's like all on the table. They just gotta put it together. They already have a similar kind of mode with Warzone. They just gotta tweak it a little, and I think it would definitely blow up. I think, yeah, it would blow up definitely.
I agree.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
I think that there's so many games that are kind of doing BRs now, and how popular battle royales are nowadays, that it's kind of like, I don't want to say twisting their arm, but like more so like, wouldn't be smart not to do it, right? Just the audience alone, just in battle royales, that would, like you were saying, bringing an audience just to the Halo community, and then from there can transition to that competitive game mode and actually watching competitive Halo. But then again, to your point, like, you have the maps down, you can have this giant Halo map. I think the biggest thing really is what do you do with the guns? Do you spawn in? Does everyone spawn in with the battle rifle, or does everyone spawn in with like fists? And then you have to find gold guns somewhere.
Fisticuffs. I love
That's
it.
a good question.
And you said the pods, right? So maybe sometimes, like how they did in ODST, there'd be pods kind of coming down, and that's where everyone would kind of spawn in, or run to for like the power weapons, as opposed to just like a crate that you would do in Warzone, and all of a sudden you got, randomized luck, and all of a sudden I got this gold gun, which happens to be the sniper. So it kind of comes down to like, what would you guys prefer? Would you prefer jumping down with just nothing in your hands and just punching someone, or would you prefer loading out with just a battle rifle or an assault rifle or something?
For me, I think it's always been like part of the lore is that a Spartan is like always prepared, and they always have like something on them. And so I think like having like a pistol, just like the Magnum to start with, don't make it a good weapon, but just make it able. Because you don't see a Spartan walking around with like. Do you want to see just like two green fists? As
That would be great.
Sure. And I think like with the Warzone, like they're gonna have different snipers. You're gonna have like the normal like human sniper. You're gonna have the sniper with the 50 cal that can take out the tank. You're gonna have the one-shot kill sniper, and you're gonna have like the Covenant sniper. And there's gonna be different tiers of each one. You're gonna have like battle rifles with like, better scopes, better like damage on their shots. You're gonna have normal stuff. I think that's gonna be great. If you drop and you don't have a weapon, I'm not gonna be mad. I just think it would look so silly. But
Yeah.
I'm not a game designer. Yeah, like what are you like just like
Yeah.
What about the use of a tank or a warthog, or a ghost? I mean, when I was thinking about it for the BR, at what point is that ceiling? It's too OP, where like having a tank is like, yeah, we probably can't have a tank, or like, oh, let's get rid of the turret underneath to the warthog, but make it like, it's not as flimsy as a mongoose, but it can go faster, something like that. At what point, where's your ceiling? Does a ghost shoot to people, or is it really just for transportation?
Yeah. I think they would do similar like Call of Duty, where you have random vehicles or I don't even know what they call it in Call of Duty, but it has like a gun. It looks like a heavy like Jeep or something like that in Call of Duty, right? And I guess I'm thinking of Blackout, but like a Warhawk, for example, I think having one few here and there, because you can easily kill the gunner of a Warhawk, So I feel like having those rare ones, it kind of gives a good flair. Of course, there's mongooses that you can use. There's actually technically Warhogs that don't have gunners just for transportation. If you go back to like Halo 3, they have those where literally just you can all pile in and drive. They do have that. I don't think they would add like a Scorpion tank or anything. Yeah, or like Banshee or like a Hornet. I can see those kind of OP a little bit. but definitely like warhogs, mongoose, maybe some kind of covenant vehicle, like maybe
Spectre.
yeah, they bring that back, you know. So it is with the banished, so maybe like some kind of chopper, you
Yeah.
know, or let me think. I
Okay,
don't know,
chopper.
something kind of like not that OP, but you can also kill them out of that vehicle pretty easy. Um, that's a good question. I would have to.
Yeah. I don't think they bring in a Halo or like a Wraith or something. I think it's possible, knowing them, they will. But I'm not the person to ever get in a tank because I
Oh,
hate how slow it goes. Everyone would be looking at me. Everyone would be shooting at me. I want to be the guy who's not being looked at and killing everyone else. Like, put my best friend from high school in that tank and they'll just chuck nades at him and he'll get his double kills. But I'd
man,
rather be like
I
looking
got
out
you.
and trying to pick off the guys.
I'd totally be that guy in the tank with just like a microphone. Hey guys, I'm over here. I love that.
That's why we got to play together. We'll put you in the tank,
Yes.
and
That's why I like
Carlos
big
and I will
team
pick off
battle.
all the other little chickens around.
Um,
I think you could go with like I mean not a banshee, but what was that thing you call a pelican or something like that?
the smaller ones are hornets. There's hornets, there's hawks, and there's banshees. I forget the other covenant one. And then in Halo 5 they have the Promethean ones. I forget what they're called.
Oh, yeah.
Those I don't even remember the name, but they're kind of um like flying sentinels kind of thing. One pilot
Mhm.
I
kind of
think if you
thing.
take off
Ghost
like the
in the air
guns
kind
at
of thing.
least, add some verticality to that Halo. I mean, I believe, I wholeheartedly believe that if they do the BR, that the map's gonna be beautiful, absolutely. And I actually think that the trailer that we saw might have been like probably part of the
Yeah,
battle royale.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yep. And they also said that Halo part of it was going to be like an open map, right? If I remember, like you
Yeah.
could search around and that's like perfect for VR,
That'd be
you
awesome.
know? Mhm.
So that actually, so if that trailer was part of the battle royale, right? And I actually think that'd be a really cool piece added that makes that would make Halo unique is having those enemies still on the map and not just being Spartans. Having the
Yeah.
little grunts running around and everything like that. Having brutes, maybe like strongholds that like you and your team can kind of go into and maybe get a power weapon and things like that. I think it's something
You
that a
know,
lot of other like games don't have that
That's a
ability to.
good idea. I like
yeah.
that.
And you know what? Actually, Halo 5 has something similar. They do have enemies on the field with Warzone. If you play, they have some Promethean soldiers in certain areas, and there's certain modes they release where it's like a point system capturing points, but if you slay like the legendary, like I don't know, like a hunter or something, you get like
Yeah, extra
a big
points.
chunk of points. And
That's
those guys are
cool.
like crazy, yeah. So they do have. That's what I'm saying. The Halo 5 has all the elements. They have something kind of similar. That maybe add more to the map, like you were saying, to make it more crazy. You drop in where you thinking it's clear, and all these like hunters come out of the dark and and smack you around. Or the flood, throw the flood in there.
Yeah.
Like it'd be crazy. Definitely. They have something if they could grow on that, it'd be perfect. It'd be so much fun. You know.
And I think it would help with avoiding camping a little bit more. I think that's one of
Yeah.
the biggest problems with Call of Duty Warzone is people just kind of sitting in a house for 10 minutes, going like, "This is fun. Let's build a campfire, roast some marshmallows."
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so okay, so I have a question for you guys. Do we go with certain Halos or like ODST things like that, where you have to pick up more armor, or do we have auto regen?
That's a good question. If we
BR specifically, do you
That's a
have a
definitely
preference?
probably, or maybe make it like Halo 1. Halo 1 kind of had both. You had health packs, but you
Mhm.
also had a shield,
And
so
the boots. Yeah.
you could be red bar health where once they take your shield you're dead. Boom. Or you can have that little. So maybe if they make it like Halo 1, I could see that where you could still pick up health packs and maybe implement armor. I don't know, it's a interesting one, but at least health packs, I think they could probably make it like Halo 1. They did that.
Mhm.
I would definitely want shields. I think that's part of Halo, what it is. The
Unfortunately,
only one, yeah, The only one that wasn't like that was ODST. It was more a little bit like Call of Duty. You know, the screen will start turning all red, like you're about to die.
Yeah.
But I think Halo needs that shield, that sound of your shields blinking, that your one shot to recharging. Those are all key sounds. You gotta have them.
It's a
It's part of the
staple.
game. Yeah, part of
Staple
the
of Halo.
game, man.
Yeah, I think having shields, because everyone knows how important overshield is, and that would be like a part of the game. I think like shield recharging is weird. They have to figure out how to do that. But yes, health is important. I think in an inventory you'll have health packs, because in like Halo Reach, for example, there is a big difference between a full shield with red health and a full shield with full health. Um, Easily makes a difference. But they look the same. Like just fighting against someone like that, you have no idea what their health is. And I think BRs do a good job at making it very like shield priority. And you already are given this tool with Spartans are all about shields. Like that is what Spartan gear is for. And so I think that would be a really interesting thing to bring into it.
So you actually brought up a good point. Inventory. The only battle royale that I've ever seen that actually has like a knapsack or an inventory is H1Z1. It's where you can have more than 2 guns. You can have that sniper in a back pocket, but still have your shotgun and still have your, AR. Do you think it'd be a good idea for Halo? I mean, especially if it's going to be, let's say that the power weapons are a little bit harder to get, like a rocket launcher or a sniper, where you won't get more ammo for, to be able to, D-pad up, down, left, right, maybe. Saying like, cool, I have this sniper for 4 bullets, 2 clips maybe. Or should we just have how an Apex or a Warzone does? You get to choose what 2 weapons you have, and that's it.
That's an interesting question.
Also, perk system. I haven't even gotten to that idea.
Oh God, please don't have armor lock. Anything but armor lock.
I think probably like a small inventory, just kind of how the game is, because you could pick up multiple nades. I think ammo wise is what I think, kind of like Apex, stick with the weapons you have, but have like pick up ammo. So like in past games, there's besides picking up a weapon, there's actual like magazines you could pick, like rocket packs you could pick to and stuff like that. So I think they could have that, but still just stick with, if you have rockets, you only could pick up rocket ammo and a BR ammo or something.
Right.
I don't think stacking the ammo like these other games would be like ideal. I think just sticking with that one specific, it'll make it interesting, make you play smarter. Because okay, look, we have rockets, but it only has 2, but we still have tons of rounds to go before the final circle, or
Yeah.
or you pick up a sniper and it only has 1 clip. Do you go with that, or do you go with 2 primary weapons, a DMR and a battle rifle? So I think it would kind of make it more challenging. Because Halo is a rewarding game where it challenges your skill and how smart you play. You have to be smart with it. So I think being like that would be very interesting. Something like that.
I
Definitely.
completely agree, because what makes Apex good, in my opinion, is that it's a shooter, not a looter. Because you can outskill your opponents, and like there are other games out there. No offense to Fortnite or anyone who plays that, but it's a builder. It's a BR game, but it's all about your building skill. And Halo has always been about how flippin' cool the guns are. Both the Alien and the Covenant, the Prometheans, like the guns are what makes that important. And I would be sad to know that I could run around and pick up like 12 guns and just swap through them depending on what fight I want. Like if I'm gonna run the shotgun, I have to play like I have a shotgun. I can't like take out the sniper if I see someone way across the map. I have a shotgun. I have to play like I have a shotgun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2 weapon slots basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think too. That would make the most sense to me. Seeing more, I wouldn't be upset about it, but I'm not like super into BRs.
Not yet.
I think not yet. That's a good
Not
point.
yet.
I think with Halo, if that is the main competitive game mode, you got me. I'm gonna be playing it. You got me.
What if it's not?
Oh, then I'm gonna be playing the real, like the hardcore, the MLG playlist. That's what. That's
And
what
then
you'll find
after
me.
the grind, we'll be playing that.
Yeah, after like I'm about to go to bed, like, you want to do a BR? It's like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do one. Want to do one Warzone? Yeah.
Hey man, they just better make SWAT really good this game. They better make SWAT this good this game. That's where I'm gonna be.
I'm sure they will. Halo 5 SWAT is big, and they actually
loved it.
Halo is partnered with SWAT Nation, so they're with that
Really?
organization. Halo has their grassroots program, and they're partnered with SWAT only tournament. So I assume they're gonna make sure it's big and it's nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Good. That's what I want to hear, man.
Mhm.
That's what I
There's a
want to hear.
there's a big community for SWAT. It's
There
crazy.
is.
People love their SWAT, man, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know. Like hell yeah, bring it on.
That's what we added in like our little like community. The 4 teams of 4. We're putting a SWAT game type in it. It's gonna be like Slayer, Objective, SWAT, Objective, Sniper, and kind of mix of those. And the Halo community loves their SWAT. I agree. I think it's really fun. It's super fun to. You don't have to like lean over and get into it. You could like lay back and just chill, just pop some heads. It feels so good every time. You never get
Yeah.
overkills in the normal game, but you get all of the overkill experience in SWAT. It feels great.
And they get sweaty, just like when we played that Reach tournament. That was fun, you know.
And man, I
That SWAT
popped
tournament.
off. I was
Yeah.
feeling it.
They're fun, man. I do not discriminate against SWAT. I love.
Not at all.
They're fun. I'll play in them. Maybe not my primary, you know, but definitely.
It's not Griffball, so I'm okay with that.
They need to bring back GBs for Halo.
They
I
should.
know.
Are you guys like? Do you guys like when you're serious, right? Do you guys lean in when you play, or are you guys? I've seen people who just lay back, just play as normal. Which do you guys do?
See if I can find a picture of Carlos playing at Anaheim.
You're about to
Yeah.
show me with like
Ways.
his like he's gonna do like pretzel Indian style, just like sitting down.
This is
Oh, it's
Dusty.
Chris-
not
Crisscross
as bad
applesauce.
as Disco's.
I'm
up.
just kidding.
But let's see if I can. You guys can see this. So this is like zoomed in. Like Condor and I are sitting up, but like Cisco is literally making a capital C with his back, and Carlos is kind of getting in there too. But I like this. I sit up. I played piano growing up,
Okay.
and I've always been
Jealous.
taught to like sit up straight if you're gonna pay attention. But
I've actually actually changed from that, Dusty. I morphed into sitting up.
oh
when I-
really?
Yeah. So I with my seat, and especially my setup too, it's a little bit higher. So if I were to lean forward, it's like me looking. You know, it doesn't. And also, I feel like doesn't hurt my legs as much. You know, I grew up playing like that was the stance, playing in the zone. You know, you're focused up. They made that meme where when it was like go time, you went from like chilling back to you're like, all right, dude, time to focus up. So,
Yeah.
but until last year, dude, or this last year, I actually sit up more. I sit up straight. When I compete, I sit up a little bit forward. That's an interesting question, dude. I sit up forward a little bit. When I'm kind of grinding, I sit back a little, and you know.
Okay.
But definitely, I worked on my posture. I feel a lot better. My legs don't hurt as much. My arms, definitely, you know.
It's
Yeah.
What
definitely
about
better
you,
for your
Josh? That's your-
posture.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help my I have scoliosis, and just the idea of I try and cut, I'll sit back and I'm like, this is weird. This is like it's like I can't see the. I mean, I'm only like, what's the difference? Like 2 inches versus 4 inches from my screen, right? But like I've been doing it for so long that I can't even imagine sitting back. But I see people do it all the time. They're just sitting back like it's nothing, and I'm like, I can't do this. This is weird to me. I probably should, but okay.
Yeah, it's definitely since I made that transition, it was weird for a while. It was weird. It was kind of frustrating. I'm like, dude, I need to. Well, after a while, you get kind of used to it. But yeah, some people are just chilling back. I remember Busta from Anaheim, Dusty. He was like, his legs were out. He was
Oh,
like
man,
comfortable. He was just like playing like this. He was playing his match, and he was like, chair was going like this. He was like gaming. He was chilling. And
Like at home in his like his pajamas, just chilling.
yeah, he was just chilling, dude. And I was like, dude, this guy's playing like mid match, and he just like just destroying, like moving around. It was just crazy. I was like, dude, and he was playing on a 360 controller, and this is
Was he
2020.
really playing on a
Yeah,
360 controller?
yeah.
Oh,
It stood out. I was like, is that a 360? He's a hell yeah, baby. And I was like, damn, dude, let's
Man, best
go,
controller ever
man.
made.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what
Best
exactly what
controller
he
ever
said.
made.
I was like, damn, dude. He's like, this game came out on the 360, so the only way to play it is on the right controller for it. I was like, all right, all right.
Amen.
Yeah. You got like top A's. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll take that.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's doing something right.
yeah.
All right, we're almost kind of at that limit, but I'm gonna end it here with one last question for you guys, and it's all preference. What was your least favorite Halo? You guys are so. Is it thinking, or is it like you don't want to say it?
No, that's a hard question, dude. In what aspect? Competitive,
Good
overall,
question. There you go. That's...
story? Cause like me, I love Halo. I love the story. I love the competitive. I love the gameplay. I'm a fan of everything, dude. So that's a tough question. If I had to answer that, oh man, that's a spicy question, dude. My least favorite Halo, but it has its moments, would probably be Halo 4. Because that's also kind of when competitive Halo kind of died. It got very awkward. MLG stopped. They dropped Halo 4. Then we had these other organizations trying to come up, and it was kind of for competitive. It was kind of a bad thing after a while. It also didn't have like that's when they introduced sprint, so that was a new element. So that was probably my least favorite Halo, but I still enjoyed playing it. I still had good memories playing game battles. I used to do tons of GB, and then it turned into PGL, Pro Gaming League, when that whole transition. So I played that. But definitely, if I had to pick one, Halo 4, but very small. I loved it still. I love any Halo, but definitely maybe my least favorite out of all.
Okay, I can respect it. What about you, Dusty?
Not to sound like a parrot, but I would 100% agree. Halo 4 was definitely my least favorite Halo, and let me preface by saying, like, I'll make it a compliment sandwich because I love all the Halos. It felt good to play. The battle rifle felt good. The hit reg felt good, especially on like online games. The hit reg felt good. I thought like the weapons and like the sound of it was just really nice. The sprint I was kind of used to after playing Halo Reach for all that time, and it was a good sprint. Like Halo Reach's sprint is very clunky, and Halo 4's sprint, it's like if you're sprinting like off a cliff, you fall straight down. You don't go like woo like off the cliff, like somehow like you're driving a car. So that's the good. The bad, I agree wholeheartedly that it's just sad that that's when Halo kind of died for the competitive scene. A lot of the pros like retired, like the big names. No MLG circuit, and I think a lot of that had to do with infrastructure of how the game was made, the weapons in the game, the booster pack or the thruster pack. The maps were just trash, absolutely just trash maps, unfortunately, and it just like it wasn't fun to watch. Didn't have these hype moments because the time to kill was so slow. So it's like death, 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 death. It just went really quick. But all in all, I love Halo. I thought it was going to be like the next big thing, and I definitely put my time into it at the beginning. And I kind of watched it die. And I went to grad school around that time. I was doing my master's program, and it was kind of also like a farewell. There goes my life. I have to focus on my studies. Goodbye, Halo. And it was kind of like a good like departing gift. Like just see a Halo 4. It wasn't a bad game. I just think it had the tools. It just didn't come together.
Yeah, it was dark. I'll tell you that when MLG dropped it, and
So,
like you're saying, I thought too. I was like, "There's no more competitive. It's gone." There was that. I forget what was that other small organization that tried to run tournaments, and then he It was I don't even
Wasn't
remember.
ESL, it wasn't HCS, it was something weird. Yeah.
And then like the owner, like the last event, took all the entry money and like bailed or something like that. Or
Whoa,
Ran
what?
with it.
and like,
It's like in
and that's
Indiana too. Like,
yeah, and that was like the nail in the coffin. And then, but
yeah.
luckily though, after that, HCS was born.
Hmm.
You know, with Halo 2 anniversary, right? Going into Halo 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Halo 2 anniversary felt great. Um, the launch, and this is what I was gonna get into, is that is the worst Halo for launch. It was the biggest failure of all launches of like any game. It's like kids are gonna be like, "Oh, Cyberpunk 2020 or 2077 was like the worst." Like, no, this was the worst launch of all time. Like 2 hour queue times for a game that would just lag out in the middle of it. So bad.
When did that come out?
Jeez, that
15?
was
Wasn't 15? 14?
had to been 15.
Was that one of like the first
That's-
ones that came out for the Master Collection?
It was the first one on the Xbox One.
Wow.
And it was the whole game. It was all Halo 2 anniversary, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was the whole package. So it was like this crazy thing. They're like Master Chief Collection, play all the Halos on one disc, you know, and we're gonna do the Halo 2 anniversary remastered, like this big old thing. Everybody was hyped. Day of launch, died.
Didn't work. The
Just
game
didn't work. Too much power, you know. The gas just burnt out, you know. It was bad. It took him a while to get it back, but it hurt. A lot of people are just like, nope, I'm not even coming back. Screw this, you know.
They just they just gave up on Halo and just went back to COD. Like people just
Yeah.
it's a sad moment. I think that was probably like I can't believe that didn't kill Halo. They are
Yeah.
trying like somehow 343 is trying to kill Halo and they can't succeed because there's people like us out here who want to continue playing the game. They're trying to kill it.
Yeah.
It's not done yet.
You know, it was sad. A lot of people are like, you still playing that broken game? Still
Yeah.
playing? Like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm still playing it now. I'm playing Halo 3 in 2021.
There you
Yeah,
go.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Would you guys consider ODST to be considered like in that lineup of games? Because like from my perspective, from what I remember, like to answer that question, that's my least favorite Halo. Like the amount of hype is like, oh my god, this new game, ODST, awesome. You know, I might start playing Halo again. Fucking just Halo 3 with 3 new maps, cool. And you get a story mode, cool. Open world, which by the way is a good example of like we can do this open world BR. Awful, garbage. $60 for a game, and I got a story mode and firefight.
That's a really good point. See, I just like am so forgetful about that. But I was in the Halo 3 grind like so hard. And I remember getting ODST and almost like the McDonald's toy. Like I threw away the cheeseburger and I threw away the French fry. I just took out the toy and I'm like, new maps. This is what I wanted. And popped that in.
There's only like 3 new maps.
It was Heretic though. Such a good map. Such a good map.
Only map I really remember is the sea map. The map with like the ocean. I only played for like the achievement, so I remember the skull was like in the corner of the map. You had to go in like the little pipes in the corner.
Oh
of the
yeah.
map.
What is it called? Like
Points if you guys can remember that map name.
Longshore or something like
Yeah,
that?
Longshore.
Or
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
the Longshore?
Yeah, good memory. Yeah, that's it.
10 points.
But yeah, so
Um,
that's my shittiest Halo. Not a fan. Nope.
We're good.
Yeah.
That is a good one to hate. If someone comes out and says like I hate Halo 2 or Halo 3 or Halo Reach or 5, I'm like, something's wrong with you. You're not all up there, are you?
Yeah.
It's like you didn't really play the game, did you? So, all right. Well, you know, we've been live for about almost 2 hours now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, time passes.
That's fun. You know, I love talking to you guys.
And I hope to have you guys on here again. You know, at any point. You know, I learned a lot just from talking to you guys. I'm always down to like kind of pick your guys' brain. That's kind of like what a lot of these questions were, to kind of like see into the realm of Halo from an outside perspective, right? But thank you again for you two, Dusty, Poseidon, for coming to the second episode of Walk the Plank. If you guys would make sure to like that, smash that like button. It's late, sorry. Each of their Twitters and their Twitches will be in the description down below. Make sure to show some love to these two absolute grinders, and you'll be seeing more of them, 100%. From what you guys said, 2021 November 20th anniversary, right?
Sir,
That's what's
Pirate Nation will be there, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, if we get this tournament when it first comes out, you bet your ass I'm gonna be driving out there.
Let's
We'll
go,
be there.
man. Let's go.
So again, thank you guys so much for coming to Walk the Plank. Appreciate you guys very much. Until next
for
time,
having us.
everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.